The Galactic Council chamber was filled with cold light, 1,000 alien voices echoing inside its vast dome. Creatures with scales, claws, and glowing eyes sat in high seats while smaller races bowed low. The Council was the heart of power in the galaxy, and it had one goal today: to deal with the problem of humanity. For years, humans had been the newcomers, allowed to travel among the stars but always under rules, always under watch. They were clever, fast learners, and dangerous when angered. Many alien leaders feared them, others laughed at them, yet none trusted them. The High Speaker of the Council, a towering alien with crystal horns, raised his hand for silence. His voice was sharp as glass. The human species continues to resist our full control. They trade without permission. They expand without approval. They must be punished. Murmurs filled the hall. Some agreed, some hesitated, but then one delegate, a reptilian creature with burning eyes, stood and spat his words. Humans are nothing but wild animals. They should be caged, not seated among us. The insult spread through the chamber like fire. Other aliens chuckled, others nodded, but one human envoy stood at the center, his fists clenched, his jaw tight. He was the only human allowed in the council. His name was Elias Ward, and he had heard enough. Elias spoke calmly, but his voice carried power. For decades we followed your rules. We bent our backs to your laws. We listened when you mocked us. We worked when you restricted us. But you crossed the line today. The chamber laughed, alien voices mocking the lone human. One delegate hissed, "What will your fragile earth do, little man? Send more words." But Elias did not answer. He only stared, his silence heavier than threats. The High Speaker slammed his staff. "Enough, the Council has decided. Humanity will face sanctions. Trade will be cut. Ships will be inspected. And if Earth resists, our fleets will bring obedience." The words hit the chamber like thunder. For other races it was routine, but for humanity, it was a knife to the throat. The envoy turned and walked away, each step echoing across the stone floor, and as he reached the exit, he spoke only 5 words: "You have gone too far." On Earth, news spread fast. The Council's orders were read on every channel. Markets shook, factories stopped, families sat in silence. The people of Earth had tolerated insults before, they had endured strict laws before, but never this, never the threat of fleets above their skies. Ordinary men and women whispered in streets. What now? Will they invade? Are we slaves forever? But beneath the fear, a spark began to grow. In hidden places, deep underground, humans gathered. Old generals, young engineers, leaders of nations who once fought each other now sat at the same table. One said, "They think we are weak." Another said, "They think we are afraid." And then an old soldier leaned forward, his eyes like steel. "They will soon learn what happens when humanity is pushed too far." Meanwhile in orbit, Council warships drifted closer. Their black hulls like shadows across the stars, alien captains spoke with arrogance. Humans will bow, they will kneel, they always do. But even they felt something strange, the silence of Earth, the lack of fear. It was unsettling. Elias returned home, standing before his people, his face tired, but his voice sharp. "They call us animals. They call us fragile, but they do not know us. We are patient, but patience has an end. They think we will break, but we will not. We will rise." The crowd roared. Voices of workers, soldiers, children, old men, all joined for the first time in decades. Earth stood united, yet above them the Council fleets prepared to descend, weapons charged. Orders ready, confident of easy victory. The galaxy watched in silence. Other races whispered in fear. What if humans fight back? What if humans snap? But the Council ignored it, blind in their pride, and so the first spark was lit. The moment where everything began. The line was crossed. The insult was too deep, the threat too heavy. Humanity was no longer silent. They were waiting. And when the fleets moved closer, the galaxy would see what it meant when humanity finally snapped. The sky above Earth looked peaceful, but beneath the calm, the planet was preparing for war. In hidden bases carved under mountains, in secret shipyards deep beneath oceans, humanity was gathering its strength. The Council believed humanity was broken. They thought the people of Earth would cry and surrender. But instead, something else was rising. A mechanic named Jonah worked in one of the hidden hangars, his hands covered in grease. He was repairing a ship that looked old, but inside it carried new engines, new weapons, designs that no alien had ever seen, he whispered to himself. They think we are weak. Let them come. Across the ocean, Captain Mira led a small group of soldiers through training. She was young, fierce, her eyes full of fire. She told her troops, "We are not just defending Earth. We are showing the galaxy what it means to fight as humans." Meanwhile, diplomats tried one last effort. They sent messages to the Council, asking for peace, but no answer came, only silence, and silence spoke louder than threats. In the Galactic Council chamber, aliens laughed. One said, "The humans send words again. They are nothing but children." Another replied, "We will crush them, and they will thank us for mercy." But a few council members were uneasy. Whispers spread, "What if humans are hiding something?" Back on Earth, Elias Ward stood before leaders of every nation, the same leaders who had once argued, once foe. But wars against each other now sat together, no flags, no divisions, only Earth. Elias raised his hand and spoke. "The time for silence is over. We cannot beg for respect anymore. We must earn it, and we will. Not with words, but with action." The room erupted in agreement. Old enemies shook hands, rival nations shared secrets. Humanity was uniting in a way the galaxy had never seen. Ships were being built in secret, weapons tested in silence, codes written, signals sent. Humanity was preparing not only to defend Earth but to strike back if needed. One night, deep underground, an alarm rang. Engineers rushed to screens. Council fleet detected, entering solar system. The words hit like a storm. The enemy was coming. Families were moved to shelters. Children whispered to each other in fear. Will they destroy us? Mothers and fathers held them close, saying, "No, we will fight." The tension spread across the planet like fire. People in every city stopped and looked at the sky, waiting, knowing something was about to change forever. In space, the Council fleet glided forward, their massive ships glowing with alien energy. One commander sneered, "Earth will surrender before dawn." Another laughed, "If they resist, their cities will burn." But on Earth, in the secret command bunker, Elias gave one simple order. Do not fire first. Let them think we are weak. Let them make the mistake. Suspense hung heavy in the air. The world was waiting for the first shot. At the Council fleet's flagship, the alien admiral prepared a message. "People of Earth, you will open your ports. You will surrender your weapons, or you will face destruction." His voice was cold, confident, proud. The message spread across Earth. People listened in silence. Then something happened. They did not cry. They did not kneel. They cheered. They shouted. They raised their fist to the sky. Humanity's spirit burned brighter than fear. The admiral was shocked. He turned to his officers. Why did they not fear? But no answer came, only silence. Elias stood tall, his voice broadcast across. The Council fleet entered Earth's orbit, their massive ships casting shadows across the planet. From below, people could see glowing lights in the night sky, like false stars. Mothers whispered to children, "Stay calm." Fathers clenched their fists, soldiers tightened their weapons. In the flagship of the alien fleet, the admiral stood proud. "Earth is surrounded. Their resistance will end before it begins," he said. His officers nodded. But in their eyes, there was unease. The humans had not begged. They had not surrendered. Something about their silence felt wrong. On the ground, Captain Mira led her soldiers to hidden bunkers, her voice steady. "Remember, we fight not for one nation, but for Earth." Her troops nodded, fear in their eyes, but fire in their hearts. Jonah the mechanic stood by his ship in the underground hangar, its engines glowing faintly. This was no ordinary craft. It was humanity's secret, a weapon of shadows, powered by stolen alien tech and human genius, he whispered. "Fly true, my friend." Elias watched from the command bunker as the alien message came again. "Surrender now, or your cities will fall." The word spread across every screen on Earth, but this time, the humans did not wait. Elias gave the order, "Activate the net." High above, Satellites that had once looked harmless suddenly flared with strange energy. Beams of light crisscrossed the sky, forming a web around Earth. The alien fleet's systems blinked, their sensors failed, their engines stuttered, chaos spread across the ships. "What is happening?" the admiral shouted, but no answer came. His fleet was blind. Then from the dark, a human ship uncloaked, sleek and black, it darted through the alien formation, its weapons silent but deadly. A single shot fired, and one Council warship exploded, fire lighting up the void. The aliens gasped. Impossible, how did they build the... But that was only the beginning. More human ships emerged, not many, only a handful, but each moved with speed and precision no alien vessel could match. They struck like shadows, vanishing before return fire could land. On Earth, the people watched the skies light up. Cheers echoed in shelters and streets. Children shouted, "We are fighting back." Elders cried with joy. In the council chamber across the galaxy, panic spread. Messengers shouted, "The humans are resisting," one elder screamed. "They were supposed to be weak." But the high speaker's face turned pale. "We underestimated them." Back in orbit, the alien admiral tried to rally his fleet. "Focus fire, destroy them." But every command was too late. The human ships moved like ghosts. One council cruiser after another went dark. Captain Mira's soldiers listened to the explosions above. She raised her voice. "Do you hear that? It is the sound of freedom. Do not forget it." Her troops roared in reply. Jonah's ship returned to its hangar, smoke rising from its weapons. He smiled, exhausted but alive. "One ship against giants and we survived," he said. The engineers around him cheered. Elias stood in the bunker, his voice calm but firm. "This is only the beginning. They thought they could control us. Now they will see what it means to face humanity." The alien admiral stared at the battlefield, half his fleet burning, fear in his eyes. For the first time, he whispered, "We are not facing prey. We are facing predators." Word spread across the galaxy faster than light. Whispers in marketplaces, shouts in spaceports. Humans fought back. Humans destroyed council warships. Fear and respect began to grow where mockery once stood. On distant worlds, oppressed races listened and felt hope. If humans could resist, maybe they could too. The galaxy was shifting, one battle at a time. The council tried to hide the truth. But the fire of rebellion could not be silenced. The story was already spreading. Humanity had struck first, and the galaxy would never forget the moment. And above Earth, the last surviving ships of the alien fleet turned and fled, their once proud banners burning behind them. But Elias knew this was not victory. It was only the first strike. The council would return, stronger, angrier. But now, humanity was ready. The spark had become fire, and the galaxy would soon learn. When humanity snapped, the stars themselves trembled. News of the council fleet's defeat spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On distant worlds, traitors whispered in fear, soldiers argued in disbelief, and common people cheered quietly. For the first time in living memory, someone had stood against the Galactic Council and survived. In the council chamber, chaos ruled. Alien leaders shouted at each other. One slammed his claws on the table. "This is shameful. Humans destroyed our ships." Another hissed. "We must crush them completely, or we will look weak." But a few voices trembled. "What if we cannot?" The high speaker's face was pale but cold. "We will not be humiliated. Assemble the Grand Armada. Every fleet, every ship. Humanity must be erased before their courage spreads." The chamber fell silent. Every race understood what that meant. The largest force ever seen in galactic history would march toward a single world, Earth. On Earth, humanity celebrated the first victory, but Elias Ward did not smile. He stood in the command bunker, watching the reports. "They are not finished. They are only beginning," he said. His advisors nodded grimly. Jonah worked day and night in the hangar, repairing ships, building more weapons. Sweat covered his face, but his hands never stopped. "We are fighting giants with knives, but we will sharpen every blade until it cuts through their pride," he whispered. Captain Mira trained her soldiers harder. Drills became endless, missions became dangerous, she told her troops. "The council is coming with every gun thing they have, and when they arrive, we will not bow, we will make them bleed." Across the planet, nations poured resources into one banner, one flag, the human race united as never before. Old grudges were buried, ancient borders erased. For the first time, Earth spoke with a single voice. But in the wider galaxy, something unexpected began to happen. Smaller alien races who had suffered under the Council for centuries started to whisper, "If humans can fight, maybe we can too." In hidden corners, rebels raised their heads, slaves dreamed of freedom. The Council sensed the danger. Their fear of rebellion was greater than their fear of humans. They ordered the Armada to leave immediately. Tens of thousands of ships moved through the stars, their engines shaking space itself. When the first scouts reached Earth's borders, humanity was ready. Strange signals blocked their sensors. False images filled their screens. The scouts reported confusion. "We cannot scan, we cannot detect. The humans have tricks we do not understand." The reports terrified the Council. Elias addressed his people on every screen, his voice calm but powerful. "The largest fleet in history comes for us, but we will not surrender. We will not beg. They think this is the end of humanity, but it will be the beginning of something greater." The people roared in unity. Workers built faster, soldiers trained harder, engineers designed weapons that had never existed before. Humanity's will was a storm no one could stop. In the Council fleets, some alien soldiers began to fear. They spoke quietly among themselves. "We are marching to Earth, but what if we never return?" Rumors spread of human weapons, of human shadows moving in space. One night in the hidden human base, Jonah tested a massive weapon. It hummed with energy stolen from alien cores. When it fired into the empty sky, the stars seemed to shake. He smiled, exhausted. "If this works, even their armada will know fear." Captain Mira stood on a cliff with her soldiers, watching the night sky where alien lights flickered in the distance. She raised her voice. "They are many, we are few, but numbers do not win wars. Hearts do. And our hearts burn brighter than theirs ever will." The soldiers roared, their voices echoing into the night. Far away, the Grand Armada approached, its size so vast it blotted out suns. Billions of lives across the galaxy watched in fear, knowing something unforgettable was about to happen. The Council believed they were marching to victory, but in their arrogance they had awakened something older, something stronger. They had awakened humanity's fury, and in the silence of space, as the two forces prepared to clash, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. Because everyone knew, when the Grand Armada met humanity, history would break and the stars would burn. The Grand Armada entered the edge of Earth's solar system. Thousands of warships stretched across the black sky, their engines glowing like a wall of fire. Entire moons trembled as the fleet passed. The Council was ready to crush humanity with overwhelming force. On Earth, silence fell. People stared at the night sky where unfamiliar lights flickered. Not stars, but warships. Children clutched their parents, elders whispered prayers. Yet behind the fear, there was something stronger. Defiance. In the hidden bunker, Elias Ward studied the enemy formation, his voice low but steady. "They believe numbers will win, but numbers mean nothing against will." His generals nodded, their eyes sharp. Captain Mira's soldiers stood ready inside their underground fortress. Weapons charged, armor tightened. She told them, "The Armada is here, but remember this. We are not fighting to survive. We are fighting to prove to the galaxy that humanity will never kneel." Her words lit fire in their hearts. Jonah, in the massive hangar, oversaw the weapon he had built. A cannon that pulsed with energy stolen from alien cores. It was huge, larger than anything humanity had ever created. "This is madness," one engineer whispered. Jonah only smiled. "Madness is exactly what they will never expect." The Council Armada sent its first message, cold and sharp. "Earth, surrender now or burn." The words echoed across the planet, but humanity did not answer with fear. Instead, Elias broadcast his reply, his face calm. "You have taken everything from us. You tried to break us. But now, you will learn the cost of your arrogance." And then the battle began. The Armada moved forward, weapons glowing, but suddenly the stars lit up. Humanity's secret weapons activated. The orbital net powered by satellites and hidden stations unleashed a storm. Alien sensors failed, navigation collapsed, fleets collided in confusion. From the shadows, human ships struck, small but deadly, weaving through giants, their weapons cutting deep into the massive armada. One alien cruiser after another exploded, fire spread like lightning. The alien admiral screamed, "How are they doing this?" His officers panicked. "We cannot see them, we cannot lock targets, they move like shadows." On Earth, people cheered as the skies glowed with burning ships. Captain Mira's soldiers launched into space in small strike craft, darting between enemy giants. One soldier shouted, "For Earth," as his ship rammed an alien vessel, sacrificing himself but tearing a hole in the enemy line. Jonah fired his cannon, the weapon roared with power. A beam of light brighter than the sun tore through the void, slicing an entire battleship in half. The explosion shook space itself. The engineers gasped. Jonah whispered, "Let them fear what humans can build." But the Council Armada did not retreat. Their numbers were vast. They pressed forward, burning asteroids, smashing satellites, thousands of ships still advancing. The sky was filled with war. Elias watched calmly. "Hold the line, bleed them. Make every ship they lose a lesson," he ordered. His generals obeyed, their voices steady. The galaxy watched in silence. Billions across distant worlds tuned to forbidden broadcasts, seeing what they were never meant to see, humans standing against the might of the Council and winning. In the Council chamber, panic grew. Some shouted, "Recall the fleets." Others screamed, "Send more." But none could agree. Fear broke their unity. The High Speaker trembled for the first time in his life. The battle raged on. Human ships darted, soldiers fought, weapons fired, and every explosion was a message written in fire. Humanity would not break. Captain Mira led her strike force deeper into the enemy lines, her voice sharp. "Aim for their pride, destroy their flagships." Her soldiers followed without hesitation, their ships like daggers cutting through armor. One by one, alien admirals realized the truth. Humanity was not just fighting for Earth. They were fighting with something no fleet could measure: rage, unity, and unbreakable will. And as the battle reached its peak, the Council's greatest dreadnought moved forward, its size so massive it blotted out the stars, its weapons capable of destroying entire continents. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if humanity could survive its fury. Jonah looked at his cannon, glowing dangerously. "Too unstable," engineers warned. "It will explode if fired again." But Jonah's eyes burned. "Then let it explode. Better to burn the stars than bow to them." His hands moved across the controls. Elias whispered, "Now humanity shows its wrath." And in that moment the world trembled. The wrath of humanity was unleashed. The battlefield around Earth burned with wreckage. Alien warships floated broken, their proud banners torn and scattered. Yet the Grand Armada still pressed forward, wave after wave determined to crush humanity. In the human command bunker, Elias Ward stood calm among chaos. Reports poured in, losses heavy, defenses breaking. But Elias only whispered, "Hold. Just hold a little longer." His eyes were sharp, his voice like steel. Captain Mira's strike force cut deeper into the enemy lines. Her soldiers outnumbered 100 to 1, yet they fought with fire in their veins. Her voice roared over comms, "We will not stop. We will not kneel. Make every shot count." Jonah's massive cannon glowed dangerously. Cracks spread along its surface. Engineers screamed, "It will blow apart." But Jonah's face was steady. "Then let it take me with it." He slammed the controls. Another beam tore through space, splitting a dreadnought in two. The explosion blinded the stars. On alien ships, panic spread. One officer shouted, "They are mad. They destroy themselves just to kill us." Fear grew like poison. Across the galaxy, oppressed races watched secretly, hope rising. If humans could bleed the Council, maybe freedom was possible. Whispers of rebellion began in slave camps and colonies. The galaxy itself was shifting. In the Council chamber, the leaders shouted in terror, "Recall the Armada. Send reinforcements. End this madness." The High Speaker pounded his staff, his crystal horns trembling. "We cannot retreat. If we do, every race will rise." But inside, even he felt fear. Then came the moment that shattered the Council's pride. A human fleet that no one knew existed appeared from the dark, ancient warships hidden for decades, powered by secret engines, their hulls black as night. They had names carved into them, names of lost cities, lost families. They came not as machines, but as symbols of vengeance. The alien admiral stared in horror. "How many ships do they have? How long have they prepared for this?" his officers whispered. "This is no war, this is extermination." Elias gave a single command, "Advance," and the hidden fleet moved. Their weapons lit space with fire. Entire wings of the armada were erased in minutes. The Council's proudest dreadnoughts tried to rally, but human tactics were unpredictable, their rage unstoppable. Ships moved like hunters, striking where the enemy was weakest, retreating into shadows, returning with deadly precision. Captain Mira's soldiers boarded enemy cruisers, fighting hand-to-hand, blades against claws, guns against plasma. The aliens were stronger, larger, but the humans fought with fury, screaming for Earth, screaming for freedom. Jonah's cannon finally collapsed in fire. The explosion tore apart the hangar, yet the weapon's last shot destroyed the alien flagship. Jonah fell to the ground, smoke filling the air. His last words, "Now they know what humans can do." On the battlefield, silence followed. The alien fleet hesitated, their lines broken, their morale shattered. Back in the council chamber, fear ruled. One leader whispered, "They will come here next." Another cried, "We are doomed," the high speaker shouted. "Silence. They are only one world." But even he trembled, because deep inside he knew the truth. One world had brought the galaxy to its knees. Elias looked at the burning sky above Earth, his voice quiet but heavy. "This is not just a battle. This is a warning." His generals leaned closer. "What warning?" Elias replied. "That humanity has snapped, and nothing will ever be the same again." Rumors spread that an entire council capital world had already gone dark. No signals, no survivors. Whispers said humans had struck beyond Earth, testing new weapons in secret. The galaxy froze in fear. If true, then humanity was not only defending, they were hunting. And as the last flames of battle dimmed, the universe held its breath. The council was not destroyed yet, but their power was broken, their unity shattered. For the first time in history, the predators of the galaxy realized they were prey. And humanity, the race they once mocked, stood at the center of the storm, ready to decide the fate of all. The battlefield around Earth had grown quiet. Wreckage drifted across the void. Glowing embers of alien warships lit the darkness. Humanity had survived the greatest armada ever assembled, but victory came with a cost. Their cities scarred, their fleets battered, their people exhausted, yet their spirit unbroken. In the council chamber, silence reigned. Alien leaders who once shouted now whispered in fear. One trembled. "They destroyed our fleets," another hissed. "If they can do this to us, what will they do next?" The high speaker tried to stand tall, but his horns shook. His voice cracked. "We must offer peace before they reach us." But it was already too late. Elias Ward addressed not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. His face broadcast across stars, his voice steady and cold. "For years, we were mocked, enslaved, and threatened. You called us fragile, you called us animals, but today you have seen our truth. Humanity endures, humanity resists, and humanity strikes." His words echoed into every world. On alien planets, people listened in silence. Oppressed races raised their heads. Some cried, some cheered. Hope sparked like fire in dry grass. If humans could defy the council, anyone could. Captain Mira stood with her surviving soldiers, her armor dented, her face scarred, but her eyes burned with fire. She told them, "This is not the end. This is the beginning. The galaxy now knows our name." Her soldiers roared, their voices shaking the air. In the ruins of the hangar, Jonah's weapon lay shattered, but from its wreckage new designs were already being drawn. Engineers whispered of even greater creations, weapons that could burn Entai. Fleets with a single strike, they said. If we build it, the galaxy will never dare to touch us again. And then the galaxy saw something that ended all doubts. From Earth's shadow rose a colossal figure, a warship unlike any other, ancient and terrible. It had slept for centuries beneath the oceans, hidden, repaired in secret by human hands. Its hull carried scars from forgotten wars. Its weapons glowed with power no alien had ever seen. The ship rose into the stars like a titan, the council fleets that remained scattered in panic, their captains screaming, "Retreat, retreat. We cannot face this." Elias's voice followed them, calm but sharp. We did not seek war, but you forced it upon us. Now hear this. Humanity is free. Humanity is sovereign. And if you cross us again, there will be no council left to return to. The galaxy trembled. Entire empires froze. Merchants stopped their ships. Rebels lifted their banners, for the balance of power had shattered. Humanity was no longer the newcomer. They were the storm. The council begged for peace. Messages flooded through space, promises of treaties, offers of tribute. But Elias gave no answer. Humanity was no longer asking. They were deciding. Captain Mira looked at the sky and whispered, "They thought we were prey. Now they run from us like frightened beasts." Her soldiers nodded, their hearts heavy but proud, and across distant worlds, children pointed at the sky and asked their parents, "Are the humans coming here?" And the parents answered softly, "Perhaps, but now we must treat them with respect." The high speaker sat alone in the council chamber, his horns dim, his pride gone. He whispered to himself, "We crossed the line, and we have awakened something we cannot control." In the command bunker, Elias stood alone, watching the stars, his voice a whisper only he could hear. They wanted fear, and now the galaxy will never forget it. They wanted obedience, but now they will bow without chains. And so it was written across the stars, the day humanity snapped, the day the galaxy trembled. Not because of numbers, not because of power, but because one species refused to kneel. The council crossed the line, and humanity made sure the galaxy would remember it forever.